Hey guys, Nigel here with you. Welcome to the channel. I think in my last video review I did was an unboxing of this little kit here. This is the Mini 4-wheel drive Toyota Yaris, and it actually got quite a bit of people asking me to do a video build of it and stuff. So yeah, why not? I thought I'd just do a one hit video and just put it all together. So if you want to see it sort of speed it up, just go to the settings at the bottom and you can speed it up, but I'm just going to leave the camera on and do it normal time. I don't know how long it's going to take. Probably won't do the stickers online because that's going to be quite boring to watch, but putting all the chassis of that together I think it'll be quite fun. Now the gentleman who commented, who owns this shop, Manchester Model Shop, he's actually commented, and I didn't notice this before, but if you look down here you can see that Mini 4-wheel drive is actually taking off in the UK. So we've got a Facebook group. Well, there's a couple of Facebook groups, a website, and the Mini 4-wheel drive scene. So have a look at that yourself. It looks to me quite fun. It's probably quite addictive. So if you're not sort of prepared to put a load of time into it, probably don't do it. But I've only got this because I want it to sit alongside my radio controlled Yaris, which I haven't released any videos of yet, but here's a quick flash. So there we go. So basically what we're going to do is just build this. I've got it all laid out here so you can see what you get in the box. We've got stickers, wheels, tyres, we've got a sprue of chassis parts, electric motor, all the different gears, we've got some bearings there, connectors for the batteries. This is the front and rear section of the bodywork, which you have to paint black, and I've actually painted them with a Guns GX2, or you could just use X1 gloss black, or indeed TS14, which they specify in the instructions. The only trouble is I find with the Tamiya aerosol cans, they tend to put the paint down very heavy, and with small stuff like this where you've got to come in from different angles and stuff, you've got to get under the spoiler, under there, you've got to get on the top of there, around the sides, you'll probably end up getting runs everywhere because it'll be flooded. So I've done this actually 3 times, and every time I do it I get little bits of dust in it, and it's got it again, so it's going to have to do. I'm going to have to stop being so fussy. So I can't understand, I sprayed them both at the same time, and that one is lovely, so I don't get it. So anyway, let me get the bench clear and then we'll start to put this thing together. Okay, so for those of you that are new to the hobby, just quickly run through this. We've got here read before assembly. If you are new to the hobby, I really would suggest reading this because it has got some pretty good points in there about safety and stuff, and there's a few little helpers there about what to do. Recommended tools, side cutters, got my Tamiya ones here. Screwdriver medium, this is actually one that comes with a Tamiya kit, and I've also got this small one here, again comes with a Tamiya kit because it's magnetic. Tweezers, any old generic tweezers will do. Tamiya paint colours, well we've already done all the painting. For your safety, never use other manufacturers' nickel metal hydride batteries. Please use Tamiya's battery products. Yeah, okay. I've got Duracells. There we go. Okay, tech tips. Basically with the small parts, I tell you to empty them into a tray or something, and I've got them there. There's the screws and the gears and everything, and washers in a tray and a lid. Check numbers to ensure parts are correct. So when you actually come to taking parts off the sprues, make sure you check the numbers are right. You can see here we've got, this is P, so this is referring to P2. So when you look on the sprue, you can see we've got P2, which is these here, and then those on the end of 1, so make sure you use the right one. It's telling us how to cut them out when we get to there. About using the grease, apply grease to multiple places, then rotate the gear. I'll show you that when we do it. And then option parts, use the range of separately sold grade up parts to customize and power up your car if you want to go racing. I don't, I just want this to look at. So basically there we go. So we're going to make a start, so we can shut this up now and we can fold this over. And I know this is going to get on my nerves because I really don't like these fold out instruction sheets. So I have the instruction sheet here to one side so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see here it's telling us about cutting these parts out. So I'll just show you on one what they're talking about. It's rather unusual the way they've done this. Normally on plastic parts the sprue would be like they are on here, where the sprue connector just comes along and joins the edge and you snip it off and sand it back or whatever. But you can see on here they've done it slightly differently, and what they've done, they've come in and they've actually got the sprue sort of recessed into the surface. So what they're telling us to do here is to cut it off and then remove the excess. So what we're going to do I'll try and show you close up. Excuse the state of my fingers, guys. I've been doing a lot of welding and cutting and grinding lately, so my hands have taken a beating. So they're telling us to cut it off and then hold the part and remove the excess sprue with your cutters there. Now, this is where you're going to have a problem. You can't use like your wire cutters that you've got in your toolbox, because they've generally got a chamfered edge. If you notice, these cutters here have a flat back face to them. Okay, whereas generally your snips and stuff will have a chamfer on the back, so you won't be able to use them to do this. So if you haven't actually got a pair of cutters, what you can do with a sharp knife, you can cut away from yourself and just remove it like that. Okay, so there's a cut, more than one way to skin a cat. So you can see in the instructions here, we've got these, we've got P2, we've got 4 of them. So we're going to cut 4 of them off the sprue and then clean 4 of them up. So it's 2, 3 and 4. Okay, and then we can just get on here with the sprue cutters and remove that nib. 1, well 2 should I say. Remove that one from there, and finally the 4th one, remove that one from there. And I can feel, obviously you can't see or feel, but I can feel this is like a nylon type plastic. So there we go, so we've got them now ready to go. So it's telling us to fit them into the chassis. We've got the chassis here. Okay, now there's no cleanup required on here. I can't see any lumps of plastic sticking out where it's been cut off. So that's cool. So there's no cleanup required on that, so we're just going to straight away use this. So these are basically going to push into here. So I don't know how tight the fit's going to be. Quite tight. Blimey. I've got that one on an angle, so I'm going to use my little screwdriver just to pull it over so it's straight. Wow, they are tight. So I'm going to get a pair of pliers, small pair of pliers, and just gently squeeze them in. There we go, you heard it pop in. I think it's tight because I had it out of square. I'm sorry guys, my voice is, there we go, that goes, that one's gone in easy. Let's get these pliers out of the way. Yeah, I think as if you have them slightly out of square, they don't want to go. Okay, so that's those in like that. So you don't need to use the pliers, just make sure you've got them square. If they're going on an angle, they will try and bind up. So that's that one done. So then the next step in the instruction is just to fit the propeller shaft. We've got the propeller shaft here, and that's going to drop down in those grooves there. So that's a groove in there and a groove in there. So that's that one. Then we've got the pink gear at the front. So we've got a pink gear here. That one's going to go in there. Then we've got a pink gear here, and that one's going to go in there. And then we've got a yellow gear here, and that one's going to go in. I mean, to make sure it's the right way around, you can see in here they're showing us that on the yellow gear, which is the top one, you've got one side is fatter than the other, and you can see on the actual part we've got this side has got a longer post than that side, so that's going to go in that way, like that. Okay, so that's that done. We're straight away on to the next page. As I said, this is going to get on my nerves because these fold out instructions are so unruly. Then we've got a hex shaft. So we've got 2 shafts here, and one of them, sorry, no, both of them, they're both hexagonal. I thought only one would be hexagonal. So this one's going to go through the rear. So we're going to slide that through there. Slide that through there, and then slide that through there and out the other side. Okay. And then it's telling us to apply grease. So it's telling us here to remove the cap from the grease, just give it a squeeze, and then just apply a drop of grease to all these gears. if there's any grease actually in the tube without the actual falling out. I think what we'll do is we'll put the grease on after, because it's crazy trying to do that now. It's all going to fall apart. So we'll put the grease on after. So it's now telling us to get some wheels. So we've got B1 and C1. So if we look on here, we'll make sure the wheels are the same, and they are all the same. They're all B1. So we can come along with our cutters and just nip the sprues like so. Just like that. Job done. And then we can remove the tyres. And the tyres are all the same as well. They're all the same number. Yep, they're all C1. So we'll cut them off like that. And then we'll cut them off like that. And you can see this is the beauty of these modelling cutters. They don't have the recess on the back. So you do get a nice flush cut when you nip the parts off. You get a flush cut. If you want to be fussy and clean them up, take a nice hard sanding stick and just clean off the nibs. But there's actually a bit of a nib on there I'm going to take off. There we go. Right, then we just press the tyres on. Press the tyres onto the wheels. I've got them covered in white dust, which doesn't look nice at all. So just remove that. The white dust has come from the sanding stick. So okay, so that's going to go like that, and then we're going to push these wheels on. So we're going to push that one onto there, and then place that one onto there. In fact, the easiest way to do this is to push one wheel partially on, feed that through there, and then get this wheel on this side and push. And what you can do is just stand the assembly up and just push it all together, just like so, and your gear will fall out on the front. And check it's all free turning. That's good, so it's not found. I think it needs to be pressed in a little bit more if it will go. Looks like the play is, looks like that play is totally normal. It's just to reduce friction. So there we go. So now we're going to do the same on the front. So it's telling us to put this shaft in the front, and the next is going to be apply a couple of wheels and put some grease on. So right, so we get another couple of tyres off, just like so. Couple of wheels. Those off. And then we can put our tyres on. Just like so. And then I'll do the same as before. I will put the axle into the wheel, press the wheel on the axle partially, just a little bit, pass it through that gear, and then get the other wheel and push that together like that. Okay, so that's that done. Right, so next thing we're going to do is put some grease on, if there's actually any grease in here. There we go. So there's some on there, some on there. I'll put some on there for good luck. So I'll hold this axle shaft down, and then we can turn the gears, and what will happen is it will spread the grease around. Because obviously there's more teeth on there than there are on there, so obviously as it goes around, the more times you turn it, the more it will spread it. But when it's running with a motor in there, it'll soon spread it around. So that's good there. Okay, so it's telling us now to fit the pinion gear black, which is here, black gear, onto the motor, and it's showing us which way it goes. So you've got the the shoulder on that side, that's going to go on there. And it's telling us to push it down, and what we're going to do is push the motor down until it stops. So therefore the shaft is bottomed out and the gear is there like that. That's what it's showing us here. Push in fully. Okay, so that's the motor done. Now we're moving on to the battery terminal. So we need part number A6. So this is our sprue A. You can see A there. And then this is part number 6. So we'll cut that one off. Cut that one off of there. And then we're going to take a battery terminal small. Now I've got 2 battery terminals here. So obviously that's the small one. And then that is going to go, so we hold the part like that. And then that is going to clip under here into that slot. And then we're going to push it down until it snaps. There we go, it's just clipped into place. So you can see how that's fitted. That tab's gone under there. And then that's all good like that. Okay. And then the larger one is also going to go into this part. So that tab's going to clip under there. And then again, we're going to push it down until it clips. And you can see the tab under there, it's gone under here. And then you've got a little tab in there which is clipped over. So that's that done. Okay, so now we're on to the next page. So talking now about fitting that, oh dear, come on. Where are we? That one there. Right, so. Right, so, get that part out of the way. So it's now talking about fitting this onto the motor. So we're going to hold the motor like this. We've got the 2 contacts facing upwards. I'm going to give them a little tweak upwards. And then this is going to go, the motor's going to go into the back of there, and then it's going to clip up, and basically those contacts are going to touch those 2 tabs, which is going to feed power to the motor. Okay, so you're going to go in like that and then snap that into place like that. Okay, so that's that on, that's that done. And then we're going to fit this whole assembly, turn it this way, and we're going to fit this into here. We're going to drop that down in. Drop that down in like so. So I'm guessing, okay. So we've got a little tab on here, and that's going to go in and into this slot here in the chassis that I'm porting out from underneath. So that's going to go over like that, in like that, and that's it. Okay. Now I don't get this because, okay, there's another gear. I was looking at it, that gear is not touching. That is not right. So we've got another gear to go in. So we've got that there, and then we've got part number A8, which is this piece here. We're going to nip that one off the sprues. Off the sprue, should I say. Just like so. And then that will click into this slot. I don't quite see how this is going to go. Okay, so it just literally pushes down. I thought it had to hook in here somewhere. So that's holding the motor in. Okay, so that's gone in. And then we've got another P2 gear, bearing, should I say. So we've got the last one. I'm going to nip that lump off of there. And that is going to press into the back of this blue gear. Okay, so the gear here. So that bearing is going to sit, oops, I got it on an angle, which is my favourite trick of the day. There we go. Oh. Once again, I've got it on an angle, so I'm going to, the wrong screwdriver, tip it over, and then it goes in square, just like that. Okay, and then we've got a metal shaft. And that's going to go into there that way round. It's telling us to grease it, so we're going to get some grease on the shaft. Oops, it's all or nothing, this stuff. Right, so that's like that. And I'm going to put that metal shaft through there, just like that, and then that is going to drop. So it's going to go this way round. It's going to go into that hole in the side and then drop down into the groove next to it. Okay, so there's a hole here where it's gone in, and then there's a groove there where it's going to sit down. And that is that in there. It's telling us to grease it, so we're going to get some grease on there. Just spread it over about 30% of it, and that's going to be enough. And then we're going to go over the page here, and there's going to be this part here, which is A7, A7, and we can take this off of the sprues. The sprue, I keep calling them sprues, I don't know why. Like so. And then A7 is just going to clip over that gear. It's come out of its recess. A7 is going to clip that way round, and it's going to go down into that hole there and down into that recess here. And you just heard that just snap into place. And there we go, there's all our gearing all done. Okay, and now we're going to, that's that snapped into place. Now we've got A10, which I think is our on-off switch. So A10 is on here, so we'll clip that off. And that is going to sit, you've got a hole in there, that's going to sit on that post there. Just like that. And then we've got a switch terminal. I don't believe this. I think I may have a missing part. I don't think I've ever bought a Tamiya kit with a missing part. Let me just check all my bags and I'll come back. Okay, I found it. Now this is a mystery, and if any of you can have an idea on how this has happened, I'd love to know. Right, here I have all the bags. These are all the bags, and this is the pink bag that all the metal stuff was in. Okay, and I put all that in this with this bag, ready for recycling. Here is a bin where I put my sprues and stuff and bits that's going to go in the general bin. I put these in the general bin because if I put them in the plastic recycling, they don't take them. So this is the bin that I put my bits and pieces in. None of the parts, none of the bags have been anywhere near this bin, and yet that was in there. Wear that one out. So there we go. So we can carry on. Right. I knew I'd lost it because I have never ever in my 52 years of making models, I have never had a missing part in a Tamiya kit. So in fact, I've not had many missing parts in any kits at all, really. So right, so we've got this switch terminal now. So that's just going to push down in here. So that's going to push down over that slot like that. So, and then we can see when we move the on-off switch, it's going to push that contact into the battery. So next, yep, you guessed it, we've got a cover to go on that. So it seems that this kit is just a sequence of add something and then cover it up. There we go. So that's going to go on like that, and then this is going to slot into those two grooves underneath there. There we go, God, that's a tight fit. And then it's going to snap down into two slots on the outsides there. So we've got our on-off switch there. It's going to do the business. So that can snap down in. We're nearly done. Right, so let's try and wrestle with this again. Okay, so it's telling us now to fit the battery cover. So got our battery cover here. So that is obviously going to go that way round. So it's going to go, so that's going to clip into there. Like so, hear that click in, and then that can hinge out, put the batteries in, and then you can close it down and open it up to take the batteries in and out. So that's that done. Right, so now we've got to do all the bumpers. Now if you want to display your Yaris as an ordinary model and not put the bumpers on, you could miss this bit out and just go for it. But because this is a build of a Mini 4-wheel drive, we'll add them. Right, so we've got A5. A5 is here. And then we've got 4 off of A1. So we've got A1 here, so we've got 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I would advise sanding these. Just remove, I'll use a finer stick. This is a 400 grit sanding stick. Because if you are going to go four-wheel drive racing, you want these, you don't want those sprue nibs sticking out on the edges. You want them to be smooth. I'm sure part of the hop-up kit is going to be different wheels. Okay, so we've got 4 of those. We've got 4 of those. Now we've got 4 of those. Right, and then we've got all these bits and pieces here. So what we're going to do now is telling us to grease all this. I'm not going to grease it because I'm not going to be using it as a four-wheel drive racer, so I'm not going to grease mine. So we're going to pick up a washer and a screw. Okay, and we've got these shouldered screws here. You can see on the instructions it says step screw, so that's your step screw. So you're going to put your step screw, whoops, through the wheel. Then you're going to pick up your washer and drop it over the screw. Okay. And then with this the right way up, so that's the right way up, we're going to put this down on here, and we'll put it in the, they're telling us to put it in the forward hole. Hold all that together, and then with your screwdriver make sure you've got everything nice and straight and screw it in. Now once you've got it a couple of turns, it's worth looking at it and looking at it like this. If it's on an angle it may well split the plastic, so if it is on an angle just back it out and then go back in. Okay, so we're going to screw that in. Just like so. There we go. And repeat that 3 times. I'm not going to subject you to that, so I'll do that now off camera and then I'll come back. Right, so I've done those down there, all lovely and free spinning. So it's telling us now to fit these to the chassis. We need 2 5mm screws. So these are the little 5mm screws here. And what Tamiya always do with these and their RC kits and everything, they will always give you a real life size image of the screw that you can compare to, so you can make sure you're using the right one. When you're doing RC kits and stuff, you'll have bags and bags and bags of screws. I will be doing a build of the GR Yaris radio control car chassis as well. I'm doing the bodywork as a separate video to the chassis, so if you want to go and watch that, you'll be able to see that as soon as it's done. So what we're going to do now is fit this on here. So it's telling us basically that this screw is going to go through here, making sure we've got this the right way up. I'm using this little wedge in the center as a reference. You can see there on the back side it's raised, and you see on the instructions it's lowered. So this is just going to drop down into here like so. Pick up the hole and just screw in, and then we'll grab this. If you've got a magnetic screwdriver it makes life a lot easier. Okay, so that's like that. We can just hold this down and just drop these screws into here. They're quite a tight fit. Just screw those in, and then that's that. Done. They do go in quite a long way, and you will feel when they're done. Don't over tighten them, you'll pull the threads out of the chassis, but the screw will kind of come to a stop. So there we go, so that's in there nice and solid now. So now we're going to go over the page, and we're basically going to do the same thing. We'll do the same thing with the front. So I'm not going to subject you to that again. I'll turn the camera off, and then I'll come back when it's time to put the batteries in. Okay, so I've done those, they're on there spinning freely, and then this is going to go up under here. Okay, and it looks like we've got like 1, 2, 3, we've got 6 screwing positions, but we're only actually using 2 screws, which is a little weird. So we're going to be using these 2 here. So it's telling us to come up from underneath. Yeah, it's telling us to come up from underneath. And screw them in, which seems a bit weird because the screw is actually screwing into both parts. So make sure you hold them tightly together when you screw. And there we go. So if you hold them, if they're apart like this, when you screw it together, they'll stay held apart. So you need to hold them tightly together while you put the screw in, because it's threading into both parts. As I say, if you had a magnetic screwdriver, it would be a lot easier. So just get that going. Check it square. And then wind it in, as I say, make sure it's squeezed tightly together. Just like so. And that's that. And now it's telling us to fit the batteries. Here is the fun bit. So that's off. Yeah, so we'll hold that off. So we're going to fit 2 AA batteries. So go negative, positive, and then positive, negative. And then put the cover down, and then we can test it. There we go. So, if we get over, it's telling us to put the cover on, and then it's telling us to add stickers. Okay, so you're going to put a sticker on here with your name. All right, well, I'm not going to do that. So, right. We've got a spare screw and a spare washer, so put that in your spares box. Don't ever throw those things away because they always come in handy, those little extras. In fact, we may need the screw and the washer to put the body on. No, we don't. Okay, so basically now we're moving on to the body, and what it's telling us here is to fit the rear clam to the body. Now it tells us to paint the body TS26. I see no point whatsoever in painting a very high gloss piece of bright white plastic bright white. so I'm not painting that. Now these were obviously moulded on the same sprue, so they were white. So I've painted them. Now I'm not sure if this is going to be dry enough to handle. Let's give it a go, and if it's not, I'll just have to paint it again. So this is going to go into here, not the chassis, it's going to go into the body, like so. There we go, and clip in. Alright, so I'll take my chances there with the paint not being dry. So that's the rear end. Okay, and then we'll come over the page, and guess what? We're going to do the, yeah, that is over the page. And now it's telling us to do the front end. So we're going to nip that off the sprue, get rid of the sprue, and then this one is going to go in from the inside directly down. So it's snapping in there. It's snapping in there. It's not really snapping, it's just sort of wedging itself in. Something's not right here, it's not going in properly. What is wrong? I'm doing something wrong. Tamiya kits don't have fit issues. So there's something wrong here. Maybe that's it. Ah, something snapped out then. Yep, you guessed it, it's always the same. As soon as I turned the camera off, it went in. Basically what you need to do is hold this front down together hard and then push those lights sort of 45 degrees and they just clip in and then it all stays together then. I knew it was me, I knew it wasn't something wrong with the kit because it's Tamiya. So there we go. Right, so now we're talking about stickers, and we've got tweezers used for applying small stickers. So we've got little Toyota badges there, we've got the huge roof there, so I need to paint that black as well, that little aerial on there, so we'll get that done. I guess I could put a couple of stickers on with you watching. Now, with stuff like this big one, like this windscreen, okay, it's probably better to do actually in the order, so let me paint that black and then I'll come back. I've brush painted that and that's going to take a little while to dry, so we'll get on with something else. But I will just show you, a sharp knife is a good idea to have with stuff like this, because this sticker here, you've got this bit that goes around the aerial, the bit I've just painted. It's a good idea to have a knife to clip that out, okay, because it makes it a lot easier than trying to pick it out with your fingers. So let's have a look at this rear screen. So we've got sticker number 4 is the rear screen, so that's this one here. So we can take it out, okay, and then what we can do is this. I like to use tweezers to hold things because it's going to go that way, isn't it? So we can basically get it roughly in place without putting any pressure on it. Okay, so if you can get that to just hold down, then I can come round. I can see a little lump on there, it's just where I've been holding it. I thought it might have been a lump in it from a little piece of plastic debris or something. So what I can do now is just get that in place, like so, and then come around and manipulate it into position without actually pushing it down. Now I've marked this with tweezers, so using tweezers on these stickers may not be a good idea. I don't think they're vinyl, they almost feel like a foil. So I'm kind of hoping that's going to go in the right place. Nope. Lift it out. That's going to have to do, and then with a cotton bud we can just push the sticker down and it will go into place and it will mould itself around the compound curves and everything. You can see it's slightly off there compared to this side, but I wasn't going to take it off just to correct that. So, you know, it's about 1 millimetre at the top corner. So rather than ruin the sticker by peeling it off, because sometimes you can kind of stretch them out of shape when you peel them off. So these side windows, so this is number 2. So I'm going to use the front corner as a point of reference. So we can put the front corner into place, like so. And then we can grab the back. And just with thumb pressure, you see, as soon as it touches, it wants to glue down. Line up the bottom edge and the back, and that's lovely. So we can push that down then with a cotton bud. Again, rub over it. Use a cotton bud because it's soft, but it's also compliant, so it will push it into all the nooks and crannies. It's not perfect on that back corner, but it's going to have to do. After all, this is a It's not a scale model, it's not a Tamiya 1/32 scale Spitfire, it's a toy, if you like. And it's all a bit of fun. That's all we're doing, is having a bit of fun. Come on. This is the trouble, you want it to stick down and it won't, and then a bit you don't want to stick down, you just literally touch it and it's glued down like bloody super glue. Right, so we can pull that back like so. That's gone down fine. So we can get the sticker to go down with a cotton bud, just like that. There we go, that's our side windows in. Now that paint is probably dry enough so we can fit our carbon fibre roof. So I'm going to do the back edge first. Obviously it goes over the it's got to fit over that radio antenna. Okay, so that's going to determine its position front and back, and we're going to make sure we get it centered. Just touch the sides. We can see that it's centered. Yeah, and then with the cotton bud, you should be able to go around it. And it will conform without wrinkling because it's a foil, it will stretch. These really are nice stickers. These are the nicest stickers I think I've ever used. Look how it just moulds. It's not wrinkling up, it's just moulding to the shape. It's bloody wonderful. It's beautiful. Look at that. You've got a small wrinkle triangle there, but you just rub it with the cotton bud and it comes out. Look at that. Compound curve all around the front, all over the roof. Not a single crease in it. I think what I'm going to do is get a piece of tissue. Brand new paper towel roll here. You don't need a brand new paper towel, it's just that I've got one. And I'm just going to use finger pressure and just rub this down. And I'm not going to fuss around too much about that around that antenna because the paint probably isn't dry. So when in a day or so I can push that down with a cotton bud. That is bloody awesome. Look at that. That's great. I'm really impressed with that. Really impressed with how that's gone down. Right. So windscreen. So I think we'll get the top right because we don't want to end up with a white gap between the carbon roof and the, I have got a little wrinkle there actually, I'm just looking. Gone. I don't want to get a white line between the carbon roof and the top of the windscreen because that'll look horrible. Excuse me, that's my stomach rumbling if you can hear anything. Now it looks like it's a little bit too wide. So I'm going to come over a bit wider than I should. Oh, come on. That's better. Let's peel this side up and have another look. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to run my finger down the centre. And then work outwards like that. And then again with the paper towel, just rub over it. Make sure it's down, and then the cotton bud in the corners, in the edges, push it into all the little details. There we go. So I'm going to go and do little bits and pieces now, and then I'll come back and show you when it's all done and we'll get it fitted to the chassis. Right, all the stickers are on, all looking lovely. They are the nicest stickers I think I've ever used. They are lovely. They go down really, really nice. little bit of a gap there. I'm not going to worry too much about it. But yeah, really lovely set of stickers, and you can really tell it is a GR Yaris, can't you? Even though it's got these silly big wheel arches from the side, and the back looks pretty authentic to me, and the front. But yeah, really nice. So let's see how it goes on to the... I can actually get in there with a cotton bud now and smooth that down so it looks better around that antenna. There we go. Yeah, let's get this onto the chassis. So basically it goes in the front, so that's going to clip under the front there. So we've got a lug on there that's going to clip into here. Okay, and then so that's gone in there, and on the back you've got these two, you've got half of it there and half of it there, these two semicircular sort of lugs that you put together, and there's a ring that goes and locks them together. So I'm going to put that under there. Okay, so that's gone in now. You know it's gone in properly because they'll line up on the back there. You can see those lugs, and then you've got this little tool here which goes in like that, and then you turn it until it snaps, and that holds the body together. So if you want to get the body apart, you just clip that over, take that off, and then the body comes off. So there we go. So that goes that, and click, and that's the body held on. So now you've got your GR Yaris Mini 4-wheel drive racer. So if you want to, if you wanted to remove these legs here, then you could and just have it looking like the car, but I'm going to leave it like that because it's what it is. Now obviously I don't have a track or any means, and I don't want to chuck it on the floor and let it hit the wall because I don't want to break anything or damage it, because I just want it as a little display piece. But I've thought of a way I can show you just how fast these things are. Oh, by the way, these stickers, don't throw that away. If you're into your modelling, whatever, just think about how brilliant this would be for making mirrors and stuff like that. And as I say, it's like a foil, so it's very compliant. So if you have got to go over a, you know, if you wanted to do the back of a headlamp or something, I'm sure it would probably go in there. So don't throw that away and keep that. So yeah, I thought of a way I can show you how fast this thing is. And if you want to see how fast they are, go watch a Mini 4-wheel drive race on YouTube. Generally they are in Japan. But basically, if I take the instructions, you can see how long this instruction sheet is. Yeah. If I put this down on the bench like this, and then I start this going, right, if I put this down on this paper, watch. It should go a lot faster than that. There you go. That's how fast this little car is. So, watch. So if I put it down on the bench, let it run into my hand. There we go. Give it a ramp. Obviously, because it's high gear, as well as accelerating, it's quite slow, but we can see that it's quite quick. So there we are. That's that. That is the Tamiya GR Yaris VZ chassis, or VZ chassis, and the kit number is 18097. Okay, so there we are. Little GR Yaris 4-wheel drive racer. A few people asked for a build video, so there you go. What a lovely little thing that is. Oh, and you also get a set of number stickers if you want to put numbers on the doors if you go racing. So there we are. Thanks for watching, guys. See you all soon. Bye for now.